Imagine spending 20 years piece by tiny piece assembling a puzzle that's 3.67 million years old. That's not just a puzzle, it's the story of one of our most ancient relatives. A story painstakingly brought to light from the depths of a South African cave. This is the incredible journey of Littlefoot. Our story begins in 1994. Paleoanthropologist Ron Clark was sorting through boxes of fossil fragments from the Sterfontein Caves, a place often called the cradle of humankind. Among the jumble of animal bones, he spotted something extraordinary for small foot bones. They were unmistakably hominin, an early human ancestor. But unlike other finds, these bones fit together perfectly. He nicknamed the individual Littlefoot. Clark was convinced the rest of the skeleton was still embedded in the rock, deep within the cave. Most of his colleagues were skeptical. Finding a few bones was one thing, but locating an entire skeleton that had been lost to time for millions of years, it seemed impossible. But Clark had a hunch. He created a plaster cast of the broken edge of one of the bones and gave it to his assistants, Stephen Motsumi and Inquain Mulf. Their mission to go back into the vast, dark labyrinth of the Sterfontein Caves and find the other half of that break. For 2.5 years, they searched. Armed with handheld lamps, they scanned the cave walls and ceiling, a seemingly endless expanse of ancient rock. Then, in 1997, the impossible happened. One of them spotted a clean break in a rock high up on the cavern wall. He pulled out the cast. It was a perfect match. The rest of Littlefoot was there, waiting. What followed was an excavation unlike any other. The skeleton was encased in breccia, a rock as hard as concrete. Using power tools would have shattered their delicate fossils. So Clark and his team had to use tiny, handheld tools more suited for dentists than for excavating in a dark, damp cave. For 2 decades, they meticulously chipped away at the rock, millimeter by millimeter, revealing the skeleton one piece at a time. It was slow, painstaking, and often frustrating work, but they were uncovering a treasure. What emerged from the stone was breathtaking. Littlefoot was over 90% complete, a level of preservation unheard of for a fossil of this age. We had skulls, we had limbs, but never had we found a single individual so whole. This wasn't just a collection of fragments. It was a person frozen in time. The skeleton belonged to an Australopithecus, an elderly female who had fallen through a sinkhole into the cave millions of years ago. The completeness of the skeleton allows us to answer questions we could only speculate about before. How did our early ancestors move? Littlefoot's legs were longer than her arms, suggesting she was much more comfortable walking upright on 2 legs than her ape-like relatives. This was a crucial step on the evolutionary road to becoming human, her shoulder joints. However, tell a different story. They were structured in a way that suggests she was also an adept climber, spending significant time in the trees, likely for safety or to find food. She was a creature of 2 worlds, at home on the ground but still connected to an arboreal past. This combination of traits challenges simpler ideas of how we evolved. The skull of Littlefoot is another marvel. It's the most complete Australopithecus skull ever found. Inside, the imprints of blood vessels and brain structures are preserved, giving us a glimpse into the neurobiology of our ancient cousins. Her teeth show a diet that included tough plants, fruits, and seeds, painting a picture of her daily life and the environment she inhabited. Dating Littlefoot was another epic scientific saga. Initial estimates varied wildly, but a groundbreaking technique called cosmogenic nuclide dating, which analyzes the radioactive decay of elements within the rocks surrounding the fossil, finally gave us a firm answer. Littlefoot lived 3.67 million years ago, making her one of the earliest known hominins from South Africa and a contemporary of the famous Lucy fossil from Ethiopia. This new date is crucial. It means that different species of Australopithecus were living across Africa at the same time, each adapting to their local environment. The story of human evolution wasn't a single, linear march of progress. It was a bushy, diverse tree of life, with many different branches coexisting, and only 1 hours surviving to the present day. After 20 years of excavation, the cleaning and reconstruction began. Each AIV, over 150 bones, had to be carefully cleaned, pieced together, and studied. It's a 3D jigsaw puzzle with no picture on the box. In 2017, the world finally saw the result of this incredible dedication. The fully assembled skeleton of Littlefoot was unveiled, a silent testament to a life lived millions of years ago. Looking at her, we see ourselves in a distant mirror. We see the beginnings of the upright posture that allows us to walk across the planet. We see the adaptability that allowed our lineage to survive and thrive. Littlefoot isn't just a collection of bones. She's a tangible link to our deepest past. A reminder that our own story is written in the very rocks of the earth. The 20-year journey to bring her into the light was more than just a scientific project. It was an act of recovery, reuniting us with a long-lost member of our ancient family. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into our past. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the history of our world. See you next time.